Police still investigating a social media threat at Green Bay Preble High School.
That threat came just about an hour after police tracked down the student linked to a different social media threat at Edison Middle School. Holly Brantley following both stories today. She joins us now live from Preble High School with more. Holly, what's the latest on that situation?
Right now, the threat here at Preble High School is still under investigation. Now, as for the threat at Edison, they did find that threat to not be credible. However, right now, the big thing for police and the interim superintendent, they want to send a message. These threats have got to stop. Two schools, two social media threats. Students, parents, and staff scared. The nerves of a community rattled.
For the people who do make threats to our schools, these events have consequences.
Green Bay police say they heard about the social media threat at Edison Middle School around 7 Monday night. That threat talked about a potential shooting during the 5th hour at school on Tuesday. Interim Superintendent Vicki Beyer describes how they found out.
This particular one, we were notified, my understanding is that we were notified by a parent whose child shared with them a picture of the threat, and the parent contacted, I believe, the police, and that initiated the investigation.
2 hours later, police say they figured out the threat came from a juvenile student. Then about 10:15, police learned about a social media post threatening a shooting at Preble. Police say they worked through the night trying to identify the sender. Both cases putting students and staff on edge.
We take all these seriously and we'll continue to investigate.
Green Bay police say after investigating, they feel the threat here at Edison Middle School is not credible. However, there is still an increased police presence here. While police were on hand, students were not. Administrators say attendance went way down, more than 630 absences at Edison Middle School out of 1,081 students. At Preble, they had an additional 150 absence calls over the normal average of 30.
When students aren't in school, they aren't learning. In addition, these threats cause psychological harm and cause a lot of stress for our parents, for our staff, and for our students.
She says students have to get the message that these threats are serious.
Students don't seem to understand the severity of this. We had major disruption in our district today because of this, and parents with anxiety over the safety of their children. If you do something like this, the likelihood of you returning to our school district is very low.
Again, the threat here at Preble is still under investigation. Police will be out here again tomorrow. As for the student in the case at Edison, the police are asking for criminal charges, including terroristic threatening. Live in Green Bay, Holly Brantley, Action 2 News.